Hello, welcome back to Rudiano's office. I think a lot of us creatives have had that said to us at one point or another. Your head is too much in the cloud. Go back to reality. Go back to earth. Your imagination stands in your way, in the way of your success. Well, that's a lie. Okay, you have to manage it because maybe like me when you were younger, you could conjure up all sorts of worlds, imaginary pets, imaginary friends, imaginary everything. And of course, at one point, you have to realize that they're all imaginary, but you have to deal with your reality. You can't stay in that imaginary world and not deal with things in your actual reality. It's a balance to strike rather than what society ends up doing with your imagination, which is squash it. And the reason, well, there's several reasons, but the reason that I'm going to focus on that happens, that squashing of imagination, is because to make things work efficiently, you have to have the type of person that likes organization, that likes things to work efficiently, that likes to manage things. Normally, that sort of person doesn't like change. That sort of person thrives in systems, in routine, and doesn't want change, would not invite change. Whereas the people that are creatives, that are imaginary, that are very flexible, they tend to break things to create them to be different, to be new, maybe better. And obviously, there's going to be this clash with the managers and the creators. And let's be honest, the world is controlled by the managers, not the creators, to an extent. It used to be that way, but bear with me. First, let's go back to this idea that having too much imagination is detrimental to you. It's not. It's actually helpful for society. Case in point, Leonardo da Vinci, polymath, architect, painter, inventor. I don't know if we would have any airplanes, jet fighter, and all helicopters if we hadn't seen some of Leonardo da Vinci's designs. He was the one imagining the impossible. A man could fly. A long time after, because of that little seed that was planted in our mind, we eventually came up with the design, and now we've got planes all everywhere, and helicopters and flying devices of all sorts and shapes and sizes, thanks to someone's imagination. So don't go and tell me that imagination is detrimental to society. That's one example. Let's go more modern. You watch sci-fi films and you see all sorts of products that maybe at the time of filming did not exist, and then later on they exist because that seed was planted, and then somebody came and tried to make it a reality and managed it. Like Minority Report, okay? There's scenes where there's data. Actually, it's not just Minority Report. After that, it was everywhere. Maybe it was before as well. But what comes to mind is Minority Report with Tom Cruise, and he's got data showing on a screen, or not really on a screen. It's like holographic, and by doing gestures, it changes things. Now, what do we have nowadays? With a gesture, I can get my camera to start recording. With a gesture, if you've got a Vision Pro, you can do that in space, and it does click buttons virtually. Again, it had to start in the imagination of somebody that may have been deemed crazy at the time. So next time somebody tells you, oh, your head is too much in the cloud, don't internalize it. Or maybe you have already internalized it, but remember that that's a lie. And in fact, you know, I said to you before that it's the managers that control the world, not the creators. It's true and not true. Because nowadays, you see, let's go back. Once upon a time, if you wanted to have some influence, you needed maybe a radio show. You had to have the connections and the capital to have a radio show. Or if you wanted to have your television channel, again, connection and capital to be able to do that. Nowadays, radio show, podcast. Television channel, YouTube. And you can have an audience that is global with a little phone camera. It is now changed. It is now in the power of everybody to go and create and to share their message and to touch a lot of people and to do what they're meant to do or what matters to them, rather than what society wants, which is still, you know, keeping things moving the same way as they've always been. Industrial model of thinking, you know, have everybody in the factory doing what they're supposed to be doing, nobody doing something different, because that would be deemed dangerous. Not so much anymore. We don't have to buy that if that's not the way we function. So for some who function like that, that's great. They love the routine, they love the clear structure, they love the predictability. It's fine. But for those who can't, who don't fit in that mold, we at last now have an alternative. Let's take this alternative. So this is my dream. My dream is, obviously it's a dream, so the details are going to be changing. It might not happen the way I envision, or it might not happen at all. But this is my dream. This is what I hope is going to happen in the near future. Is the way things are going, automation, AI, robotics, there will be a time where it's happening, whether you want it or not, it's happening. There's going to be a time where most of the things that can be automated have been automated. That means that there's two ways you can view this. You can view this as, it means that, oh my goodness, now I'm out of the job. Or, oh my goodness, now I can do what matters to me. I can do what is my calling, or what I enjoy doing, and reconnect with what makes us alive and what makes us useful. And then we'll be able to do more good than if we just in this little box where we shouldn't go here or go there, and not try to innovate and not try to stand out. Otherwise our head's gonna be chopped off. I prefer that world, and in that world I hope that we're going to be all the creatives out there will be able to master their craft, share it with their audience, make a living like that, have this alternative lifestyle, not this one that has been pushed on us, that actually stifles us. Because that's what we are. If we're creative, we need to create. No if, no but. And the current paradigm doesn't celebrate that. The global one anyway. But we can, in our little corner, do our creations, attract our community, sustain our message and our creativity that way, without interfering with the global people who want to manage everything. So just to summarize and conclude, next time somebody tells you you've got your heads in the cloud, just remember, you may be able to tell them or not depending on who he is, but remember, if it wasn't for people with their heads in the cloud, there would be no innovation, no progress, no flying machines, no metaverse, no virtual reality. It would be a very stale world, don't you think? I'd rather be in a world that's interesting. Anyway, that's all for today. See you next Wednesday. Wednesday. Ciao.